Now, welcome to another news from Naboo
With Thor 2.
and his lightning takes. All right, let's get to the news.
Okay, so our first bit of news today, we have Andor coming in August. So, what's going on now is there's the rumor circulating that we finally have gotten a release date, though Disney has not confirmed this, that once Ms. Marvel is over, Andor is going to be showing up. I hope it's true, because it sounds exciting. I mean, the series is supposed to be 12 episodes long, so, I mean, depending on which week we started in August, I mean, it's going to be watching Star Wars weekly from August till either late October or early November. And then maybe the next show will be ready. I'm excited.
I'm actually excited for Andor, even though a lot of people either don't even remember the show is coming or don't seem to care, because he's kind of that character who died at the end of Rogue One. Spoiler alert. I'm sure
How dare you?
I know. I'm sure most people have seen Rogue One by now, so I don't know. I think there's a potential for a different type of Star Wars show here. A little bit of,
intrigue,
a political thriller type thing. And spy,
underworld-y.
yeah.
Who knows?
We could do something a little different here. I understand Andor is kind of it's a strange character
Until
because
Mando shows up.
I'm sure those rumors will begin. Mando
Mando and
Pedro
Andor.
Pascal spotted on the set of, Andor, and he's going to, which kind of ties into our next story a little bit, I think. But no, I mean, I'm excited for Andor. I think there's 12 episodes is kind of exciting too, because that's a pretty long series.
Yeah.
For what they've done, 8 episodes.
Even if they're only a half hour, I mean, look at Star Wars for weeks at a time. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, getting Star Wars just for the sake of Star Wars is not good, but don't get me wrong. But no, if it's a good show, 12 episodes, it's, like I said, it's the potential to do a little something different with Star Wars. And I know it's a time period where I think a lot of people feel we are oversaturated, that between episode 3 and 4, let's move elsewhere. Let's not always deal with the rebellion and all that. But I think we're going to see the darker, shadier side of the rebellion, like we saw in, with Cassian out of Rogue One a bit.
I was going to say, remember him at the beginning of Rogue One? He finds an informant, talks to his informant, kills his informant.
Shoots him right in the back.
Right.
I mean, so
I want to see this shady... I mean, this is the scoundrel I thought that Han Solo was going to be.
Well, yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit. I mean, I think there's... we could go
Maybe
into the
less
whole
murder.
Han shot first kind of thing. Well, Han kind of almost murders Greedo, we could say, in a way. I don't know.
He does. He still
it's a sketchy gray area, even if, I don't know. Let's not get into that debate. Maybe we'll save that for a aggressive negotiations debate someday. But no, I mean, I think Star Wars itself should always be kind of the battle of good versus evil. But that doesn't mean you can't find stories in there about characters who are the quote-unquote morally gray or have to do bad things for good reasons. I just think when we're going to do the big stories, the Jedi, Sith, yeah, let's keep it kind of that stark good versus evil. But there are times we can explore the shadier side of things.
I think
Absolutely.
we should. I mean, if we're calling from Rogue One, all the people who volunteered to go on the mission were people who were ashamed of the things they've done for the rebellion and wanted to do something to be proud.
Well, yeah, the people who wanted to make a difference for one reason or another. It was, I know people complain about the characters of Rogue One, and I get that. Rogue One really isn't so much about the characters as it is about this story about, a heroic group going to basically help save the galaxy, and they'll never live to know what, the fruit that was, that bared from what they did. I don't know. I really enjoyed Rogue One, and I am hopeful for Andor.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next story today is kind of fun, in my opinion. Daisy Ridley was asked an interesting question. All right, we're going to play the clip here so everyone knows what we're talking about, and then let's hear what Thor has to say about it.
Also, do tell me, do you miss being Rey? Are you going to make a return to Star Wars?
I'll always be Rey.
Oh, I love that.
Soundbite.
Well, enjoy BAFTA, and great to see you. Lots of love.
Okay, I love everything about this clip, and probably not for the reasons that are obvious or what people might take away from it. I love this, for one, because I can't tell you how many times I read a story or just I'll see a clip of this actor said this, and it clearly means they want to return to Star Wars or they want to do this. And you don't know, when you actually look into it, when you actually read, you'll find out this person was asked on a red carpet or somewhere where they were not even expecting the question. Right. And I mean, here, Daisy Ridley is being asked at, I don't know what the event is, I'm sorry. But clearly some sort of big event. She's, she's walking the red carpet. She's getting bombarded with questions. And someone asks something that is clearly not, not something she's expecting. Or maybe to some degree she is. But, asking, do you want to return as Rey? And, Daisy knows, she says soundbite in that kind of almost
Joking,
sarcastic
tone.
almost even mocking way, because she knows that answer she gives is going to be analyzed and people are going to look way too deeply into it. Even though she was prompted to answer this question, and she gave a really good answer. I will always be Rey. Like, people maybe don't like the character Rey, that's fine, but to her, I'm sure Rey is something special and important. To a lot of people out there, they like the character of Rey. She is special. So saying that is the perfect answer, because you will always be Rey. It's true.
It's not saying I'm coming back in a new show as Rey. It's saying I've played Rey, and hence I'm always going to be that character in the franchise.
Yeah, and I have seen articles online that are like, the headlines are like, Rey, Daisy Ridley teases a return for Rey. And like, no, she was literally asked a question. She gave a perfectly benign and just, again, perfect answer.
Normal answer, yeah.
And the world has to look at it and go, there has to be a hidden meaning here. No.
There's not. That's why she joked and said soundbite, because she knows all people are just going to take the context. I'll always be Rey. And that's all they'll listen to. Go, Daisy Ridley just came out somewhere and walked over to a reporter, unprovoked, and was like, hey, by the way, I'll always be Rey. Wink.
Yes.
Like that totally changes how this worked.
Yes, they will totally take. That's what I cannot stand. When I see articles and I report on them, or you do the same thing now. Like, I always try to find the context. I always try to dig a little deeper than just the headline and just the story itself. Because this is a perfect example. If you didn't know she had been asked that question, if you didn't know she was like soundbite, all sarcastic afterwards, you would think, oh my goodness, maybe Rey is teasing a possible, or Daisy is teasing a possible return. I mean, this reminds me of the Rian Johnson thing that comes up all the time, where people will report, oh, Rian Johnson confirms he's still doing his trilogy. And look, I don't think Rian Johnson is ever going to do his trilogy. I just discussed it before. Not going to go into that controversy, but that'll come up from time to time, where we'll have a big articles, a big news cycle, basically, around Rian Johnson is going to do his trilogy. But then it's all about, he was asked at some random other event just like this, like, so how are you still working on your trilogy? And he could probably say, yeah, not really thinking that's going to happen anymore, but he always responds like, yep, still working on it, still discussing with Lucasfilm when it's going to happen. And then people blow that up out of proportion, as if Rian Johnson is proclaiming to the world he's working on his trilogy, when in reality he just got asked a question totally unprepared for and answered it. All right, but anyway, I think we have one final little story to touch on.
Well, this is something that's kind of more near and dear to my heart, I think, than Thor's. But Hogwarts Legacy, the new game, it's coming this holiday season. There was a 14-minute state of play announcement for it yesterday with cinematic / gameplay footage. It looked amazing to me. There's tons of interesting talent tree options, crafting, building a private area for like upgrades, potion brewing, herbs, taking care of magical creatures, making friends with classmates. You can quest with them. Looked like super interesting and involved for their like combat system, and you can kind of choose how to specialize yourself into the system, into the playing the way you want to play. In some ways, it reminded me of like Jedi Fallen Order, with the Force powers and how they all worked. I mean, I want this game, but I also want this, like Star Wars, to make a game that looks as involved as this ambitious undertaking.
I think you outed me as not the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world, which I am not. I like the movies. I've seen the movies, never read the books, but this game, I watched it with you. It looks pretty incredible, and it makes me wish we could get something like this for Star Wars. Something, it looks like a lot of just love and attention and detail was put into this thing, so...
I mean, they could make something similar to this with Star Wars, depending on which era they want to set this in, and Luke's training academy.
Well,
I don't know.
With Star Wars, there's so many times and places, so much potential to do things with, that sometimes it gets disappointing when, talking about earlier, kind of have that Andor series set between 3 and 4. There are times where, like, yeah, I just wish we could go somewhere else entirely and do something completely new and different with it, but... Getting off topic. It's
just funny because that's what Harry Potter's doing. They're not setting it during the time frame of Harry Potter nor the time of the Fantastic Beasts. They're setting it in the late 1800s. You're not going to know the teachers at Hogwarts. Hogwarts will look pretty much the same, but because it's set in its own time period, telling its own story, you don't have to worry that it's going to interfere with events. It's just about where you place the story in the timeline.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Star Wars with the High Republic is exploring a different time period, but it's still... I still think we could have done something a little different with Star Wars. Would be kind of cool. Something beyond Jedi, Sith, beyond the norm. I would love to see just something different. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But no, I think this game looks great. I am not a Harry Potter fan, but I watched him like, well, I would actually be interested in playing something like this. But anyway, I think that's all we've got for you this time. Now it's your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about Andor. Are you excited? Are you not excited? And what about these Daisy Ridley comments, I should say? Do you read into these at all, or do you agree with me that this is just her getting asked and, again, having a pretty perfect response, in my opinion, and knowing that her response is going to be analyzed to death for no reason? Whatever the case may be. Oh, and the Harry Potter game. Tell me, are you a Harry Potter fan too, huh? Anyway, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.